All right, good morning, traders. It's November 17th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. That is the day trading service for the hit and run candlesticks family. Thank you so much. Everybody out there, podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for following. Thank you for the kind words. And especially thank you for sharing. Special shout out to Jim Jordan, Bob Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted, and everybody else that shares the content. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right, so my SPY pivot this morning, 671.10. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Friday, all of the Fab Five, all right, all of them made lower highs, lower lows, closing under their traps, under their 17 EMAs. SPY closed with a 2-hour downtrend. I'm going to call it 10-minute bullish consolidation, but it was a 10-minute downtrend. Okay, it really was. It wasn't under VWAP, but it was a 10-minute downtrend. Gold in a daily uptrend made a higher low and a lower high. Excuse me, a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bullish trap but over the 17 EMA. Silver in a daily uptrend as well, made a lower high and a lower low, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17 EMA. USO still in a daily downtrend, made a higher high and a higher low, closing over the bearish trap and over the 17 EMA. Nice work there. UNG in a daily uptrend, made a lower high and a lower low, bouncing off of that 2025 high anchored VWAP, and closing inside the bullish trap and over the 17 EMA. US dollar index still remains in a daily uptrend, still in the bear flag, closed near the 99.28 area. SPY max pain for today, that's the puts and calls that expired today, is 675 with a put to call ratio of about 1 put to each call that expires today. Now, so for the headliners, looks like we're going to get the employment situation. That's a market mover, and that's coming out Thursday at 8:30 in the morning. But get this, Wednesday night, another big market mover. NVIDIA is going to report after the market closes. So might want to be hedged like Wednesday night. Going to be a lot of volatility running into NVIDIA earnings and the employment situation, which opens up on Thursday morning. Okay, so be careful. Think about hedging and how you want to hedge your positions. All right, so let's take a look at SPY today on the 10-minute chart, and this is that's with the pre-market on. Let's see if we can get one with the pre-market off. Okay, so on the 10-minute chart, you can see right here. Oh, I've got some targets right there. Okay, just gonna move these off to the side for a second. Okay, so you can see the yellow 3 EMAs underneath the white 8 EMA. Okay, so that's the white line is the 8 EMA. The yellow line is the 3 EMA. So you got price candles underneath and the 3 underneath the 8 and the 17. You got a 10-minute downtrend coming into the close on Friday. On the 2-hour chart, all right, we've got the 3 EMA, the yellow line, and the price candles underneath the 8 EMA, which is the white line, and the red dots, which are the 17 EMA. So we've got a 2-hour downtrend coming into the close on Friday. On the daily chart now, I like to look at all the time frames so we can gather up all of the important data. So we want to see what the bigger pressure may be. So we look at all the different time frames. So we've got daily chart. Notice we made a low right here back on October 20 something. All right, now November we made a lower low, so we're still in a downtrend because we haven't made a higher high. We'd have to take out that high right there. So we failed and made a lower high. Now here's the big question. Okay, are the bears going to be inspired or have enough juice and mojo since we've made the lower high to make the lower low? Okay, that's the question. Okay, now you can see they tried on Friday, didn't work out so well. All right, they may come back again today. We'll see what happens. All right, so they're spies, so we'll be prepared for them to give it a shot again later today. Push the price back down towards the low that we had on Friday. Okay, so on the daily chart, we're still in a downtrend. Now, if we take out this high, we will negate the downtrend and convert the uptrend. Okay, so there's SPY on the daily chart. We're still stuck in a daily downtrend. But with the quad lines on it, okay, right up here, you can see here's the quad lines. Okay, we're still up there in the middle of quadrant 4. That's still bullish. We're just in a downtrend, okay, right now. Right, you can see price bouncing off of right there. You've got an uptrend line right there. Price bounced off that uptrend line right there. So we'll see if we get any continuation to that bounce that we had on Friday. All right, that's the big question. Continuation. On the weekly chart, still in an uptrend, showing more red candles now. Okay, but still got the green dots, still weekly in an uptrend. You got the 3 EMA with the candles riding on top of the 8 EMA. All three of them riding up over the 17. So we got weekly chart still in an uptrend. We still got daylight between the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA. Okay, monthly chart, same deal. We got the candles riding on the 3. Right, and then and the candles in the 3 riding up over the 8, okay, and the 8 and the 3 and the candlesticks of the price action riding up over the 17. So we're still in a monthly uptrend. So nothing's broken on monthly chart or the weekly chart. Daily chart, yes, we're still in a downtrend. All right, ever since breaking this low right here, we're still in that downtrend, but we do have some economic catalyst that could inspire the market to go higher. We'll see what happens. It all depends on the economic data or the earnings. We'll see what happens. All right, so there's SPY on the daily chart. All right, so my favorite trade for SPY, of course, is the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that happens to reside inside of the 2-hour uptrend. But when we left off Friday, we have a 10-minute downtrend and a 2-hour downtrend. So I like that 10-minute uptrend over VWAP that's living inside or residing inside of the 2-hour uptrend, that resides inside of a daily uptrend, that resides inside the weekly uptrend, inside the monthly uptrend. So right now, got the 10 minutes in a downtrend, the 2 hours in a downtrend, and the daily's in a downtrend. But the bigger time frames, which do dominate, all right, are still in uptrends. So just remember, we're trading counter trend when we go short or when we buy puts. That is directional puts. All right, for the downside, we're trading counter trend, and there's always that chance that it may not work out. Okay, so we have to be careful and be vigilant about where we see price probably going to bounce or seeing price turn around. Okay, here's for example, right here, we're in a downtrend, but we hit this uptrend line that still lives right there, and you can see price bounced off that uptrend line from 663 clear up to 675. That's pretty big rip, all right, for one day on a bounce, all right? So there's the daily chart. Let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ's got kind of the same thing going on. We'll start with the 10. All right, over here on the 10, and you can see got the candlesticks, got a 10-minute downtrend because we got the candlesticks and the 3 and the 8 all riding underneath the 17, the 3 and the candlesticks riding underneath the 8. Okay, so we've got a 10-minute downtrend. But look at it, we've moved up, and then by all means we've gone over to the right. So we'll see if they start giving up this area right here, or anything below this base right here, and the same thing that's going to go for SPY. Okay, then we're probably going to be heading down to test the breakup candle low, which happened on Friday. All right, so right there for QQQ. I think SPY has one as well. Again, SPY, we don't want to be breaking down anywhere below. See these? All of this consolidation here, breaking that. And there's a good chance we're coming down to visit the breakup candle low down here on SPY. Back to QQQ. Okay, just QQQ, right. Okay, so we got 10-minute downtrend. 2-hour chart, same deal. Okay, you can look in here. There's a lot going on, but I can turn that off for just a second. Okay, so now you can see 3 EMA, the yellow line, all right, riding with the candlesticks underneath the 8. All 3 of them riding underneath the red dots. That's the 17. It's 2-hour chart. 2-hour downtrend coming into the close on Friday. 10-minute downtrend, 2-hour downtrend. Okay, daily chart, lower high, lower low, just like everybody else. Closing below the trap, below the 17 EMA, bouncing on the uptrend line, yes. Okay, in a downtrend, yes, because we made a lower high. You see that low right there? We made a lower low, so we're still in a downtrend. Weekly chart, okay, haven't made any lower lows. That would have to be the first low that becomes below the 17, which happens to be this one way down here at 400. And that's 200 points away. Okay, so don't want to break that low right there. Right now, on the weekly chart, you've got the 3 EMA and the candlesticks riding up over the 8 EMA, and we've got daylight between the two, all right? And all 3 of them, the 8 EMA, the 3 EMA, and the candlesticks riding up over the 17 EMA. So we've got weekly uptrend still intact, okay? Monthly uptrend still intact. We've got candlesticks in the 3 EMA, that's the yellow line, riding up over the white 8 EMA line right there. Okay, and then you've got all 3 of them riding over the 17 EMA, which would be these green dots. If you connected them together, they'd make a line right there. So there you go, QQQ in a monthly uptrend. Monthly uptrend still intact. Nothing's broken on the weekly or the monthly. The daily, yes, we're in a downtrend. 2-hour, yes, we're in a downtrend. 10-minute, yes, we're in a downtrend. Okay, so right now, on the smaller time frames, we're in downtrends. But on the bigger time frames, which are the ruling factor most of the time, all right, we're still in uptrend. So we'll see what happens, where price is going to catch and find support. So there's QQQ, okay, right there. So let's take a look at IWM. IWM, lower high, lower low, closing under, see, under the trap, the bearish trap, because the 3 is underneath the 8. Okay, under the bearish trap, under the falling 17 EMA. See that? Green dots convert to red dots, and now they're rolling over. So now underneath the 17 EMA, you got all of them. So we got on the IWM, daily downtrend, still up here in quadrant 4. Typically that's bullish, but you got to be having some, you got to have some bullish characteristics in order for people to get inspired. You can see we're underneath all-time high anchored VWAP. All right, we're not moving up, and we're making lower highs and lower lows. Okay, so there's IWM, downtrend but bullish up there in quadrant 4. All right, just needs to project some bullish characteristics. All right, so let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Okay, so Diamond Dow obeying the uptrend line. That's nice to see. Lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish cross underneath the 17 EMA on the daily chart. Still in an uptrend right there. Diamond Dow still in an uptrend. They have not made a lower low yet. Okay, so out of the Fab 5, Diamond Dow is the outlier that has not made the lower low yet. Let's take a look at FNGU. FNGU challenging the major support here in the consolidation. Lower high, lower low. We break this, things could fall apart. Lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap under the rolling over 17 EMA. Again, underneath all-time high anchored VWAP up there. All right, it's up in quadrant 4, but not displaying any upward movement. Okay, now nice bounce yesterday. Okay, if we look at the 10-minute chart on QQQ, SPY, and FNGU, we had a move up and over to the right. Okay, little bit of consolidation. All right, over prior consolidation. So there's some consolidation. Okay, right there. And we have some prior consolidation from the day before right there. So let's try to move that up right about there. So we move this over. So you can see we've got some bullish consolidation yesterday over prior consolidation. That's a bullish environment when we see that. But we do need to see price make some bullish engulfing moves. Make some moves up higher. So not doing it yet. So there's FNGU. All right, let's take a look at our technicals. T2101. We came from down low and we moved. We made lows, but then we rallied up higher. So in the midst of making lows, all right, or actually rallying up higher, all right, because we gapped down on the midst of rallying up higher, we lost participation in market breadth. So when the market's moving up, it seems as though we're not having as many participants in the market. Okay, so they're not interested in the market when it's moving up, but they are interested when it's moving down. Okay, not liking that much at all. 221.01 showing us bearish momentum being since they move down when price moves up. Okay, T21.22, we camped out almost all day in the sell zone. We made an appearance at the beginning of the day in the oversold zone on Friday, all right, but we climbed up out of there. The bulls booted us out of there, and you can see we spent the whole day in the sell zone, all right? So there's a little bull flag. Need to see another bullish attempt to go higher. We'll see what we get. We got 1, 2, 3. Maybe that's all they're going to get and roll over. We'll see what happens. All right, so there's T21.22. T21.23, not good news. All right, bearish gap down, not filled by the bulls. All right, that's not what we're looking for. We're under the 200 SMA. Not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear. I'm not a bear. All right. And we've got bullish gaps. You can see here some bullish gaps getting filled. See, we had a bullish gap right there. Well, they came in Friday, filled the bullish gap. Got a bullish gap there that never got filled. Looking like we gapped the gap. All right. So double gap right there. So, and you can see here's price action. There's the lows below the 17. We made lower lows. So we're in a downtrend on T21.23 15-minute chart. In the bigger picture here, this is the all-time high. This is the pullback low. We made a lower high. The bears were inspired to make a lower low. So we're in a downtrend. You can see we're all the way from the perspective of the pullback from the all-time high. We're down here in quadrant 1. Okay, so really nothing bullish happening, nothing yet. All right, T2123, and we may not get any. Maybe this is it. This could be it. I don't think so, but maybe this could be it. There's not going to be any more bullish activity, being since we're starting to see some sector rotation. In other words, people, fund managers are making positions in the consumer staples, all right, and the utilities, all right. So that's a sign of, I want to call it not inflation, but kind of slowing economy. All right, when they start doing that, they see a slowing economy. So we'll see what happens. All right, T2123. Here's the 3-bar chart. Still in a downtrend. We've got a low. We've got a high. We got a lower high and another lower high. Okay, we've got a low. We made a lower low and an even lower low right here. So 3 hours in a downtrend. Again, underneath the 200 SMA. Not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear. I'm not a bear. They're up there in quadrant 4. They're supposed to be bullish, but I don't see any bullish characteristics yet. Okay, on T2123. FNGU, again, challenging the major support area. All right, which would be all of these little valleys right down here, challenging it yet again, and bouncing yet again. So we'll see if they're going to come back, roll over, and break through. All right, FNGU on the 15-minute, as you can see, in the 15-minute, we got a low here. Okay, we made lower lows. See the low here, lower lows. So we're in a downtrend, all right, still on FNGU by making the lower lows. They made a higher high right here on the beginning of Friday. See the high? They made a higher high. That was nice. Got them in an uptrend. Then they came back, and they're making lower lows right through here. So still in a downer. Okay, that was this morning. That was not Friday. That was early this morning, making that higher high. Just couldn't hold the higher ground. Again, we like to see it when price moves up and holds the higher ground. It's not doing that yet. Okay, so there's FNGU. Take a look at the game plan. We got a game plan right here on, back over here. Let's take a look at this chart right here. Okay, and we'll look at the game plan on this one right here. Okay, game plan for SPY. No, we want SPY. All right, game plan. We've got on the 15-minute right now. Okay, we've got green erases red up here over 675.85. We got a pivot 671.10. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. We got red erases green below 664.25. Okay, we get below this. We've got a red erases green entry down here on the bottom side. Okay, we'll probably be breaking this uptrend line right there. Okay, I like 4 days and 11 days till expiration Friday options on the multiple of 5, specifically for the open interest. I like liquidity. I trade strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. I trade 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. Trade 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. Okay, I'm not opposed to trading 0 DTEs. I'm just saying, a lot of times when you're starting out your account, you may want to start with $2 to $10 out of the money, or 4 DTEs and 11 DTEs when you're starting out, only because you don't want to blow up your account. Those are very, very volatile. All right. So there's a SPY game plan. Let's take a look at QQQ game plan. We've got one on QQQ right here. All right. Green erases red over 613.35. Pivot 608.10. Above it I'm a bull, below it I'm a bear. Red erases green underneath 598.65. I trade just like SPY, 4 days till expiration, 11 days till expiration, Friday options on the multiple of 5, specifically for the open interest and the liquidity. Trade strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I like 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. Again, if 10-minute downtrends happen to manifest up here long before the red erases green entry, I'm not opposed to trading them. Just want to see a break of the rubber band candle on the 10-minute chart. Okay, that goes for QQQ and SPY. Same with uptrends. If some were to manifest an uptrend down here, in here, or over here, long before it gets to the green erases red entry, I would not be opposed to trading a 10-minute uptrend as long as it breaks that 10-minute bullish rubber band candle to the upside. All right, so there's QQQ or SPY. That goes for both of those. Take a look at the economic package. Okay, you can see the dollar still in a bear flag. You can see where price moves from right here where my cross is, clear down to the bottom here, and then over to the right. Okay, so we have a bear flag, all right, in the US dollar. We also have higher lows and higher highs. Okay, so we got a higher low, got a higher high. See, there's a high, we made a higher high. Got another higher low, and we made a higher high up here. So got a daily uptrend going on in the US dollar. Earnings reports for Monday. Monday's kind of light. Nothing there that's going to be market moving. Maybe some familiar names. Tomorrow, Home Depot's going to report. PDD Holdings is going to report. Both of those in the morning before the open. Home Depot, $366 billion, $190 billion on PDD. BHP is supposed to report in the evening. Still looking for the P&L. Medtronic in the morning as well, 123 billion. Okay, none of these are like big market movers, but let me just say they will help out their sectors. And Home Depot would be in the retail sector. PDD, I think that's a conglomerate. I'm not positive, but that would probably be close to the retail sector also. Okay, so there's some earnings reports for Tuesday. Wednesday is the main event. $4.5 trillion for NVIDIA. All right, it's in market cap, and they're going to report after the close on Wednesday night. Okay, TJX, 162 billion. They're going to report in the morning on Wednesday. Palo Alto Networks, 136 billion. They're going to report, that's tech, they're going to report right alongside of NVIDIA, although NVIDIA will probably be dominating the news cycle on that night due to the fact that it is like the biggest dog, you know, in the pound right there. Okay, so again, some familiar names, but the big market mover is NVIDIA, and that's Wednesday night. Thursday, we've got Walmart, 817 billion, and Intuit, that's tech, 181 billion. NextEra Energy, that's 89 billion. Ross Stores, 52 billion. Again, more familiar names. Nothing really market moving. Walmart may move the Dow. I'm not sure if that's in the Dow yet or not. I should probably look. DJIA components. $30 blue chip stocks. Let's see what we got here. Well, that didn't work out, did it? Okay, what do we got here? Goldman Sachs, Caterpillar, Microsoft, Home Depot. They're going to report tomorrow. I don't see Walmart in here. So it is part of the DJI. Thanks. All right, thank you. Yeah, I kind of thought it was. Wasn't positive though. Didn't want to misspeak. Anyways, back to earnings. Walmart reports Thursday evening, no, Thursday morning. All right, right alongside the employment report. Friday, we've got more familiar names, but nothing that's going to move the markets. On the economic calendar, we've got a wild one now that the government is back open. So today we're going to get construction spending at 10 o'clock, and that's it for today. But tomorrow we're going to get import-export prices, 8:30, industrial production, 9:15, housing market index, 10 o'clock, factory orders that were delayed, that's coming in at 10 o'clock, e-commerce retail sales, 10 o'clock. And that's it for Tuesday. Wednesday, we're going to get MBA mortgage applications at 7. That's pretty normal for a Wednesday. Housing starts and permits, 8:30 on Wednesday. International trade goods and services delayed report, 8:30 on Wednesday. Atlanta Fed business inflation expectations at 10. Petroleum report, that's normal for Wednesday, 10:30, and then we're going to get some FOMC minutes at 2 p.m. All right, and then Thursday, that may be a market mover, the FOMC minutes, but I really think the employment situation will be a bigger mover than the FOMC minutes, being since they've already said that what they're going to do for the year, and they've already done what they said they're going to do for the year. So I don't think this really matters a whole lot. I'm sure there's other things that they can do to help curb inflation if they want to, but I don't see this being all that relative since they've already said and stated and completed or executed what they wanted to do before the end of the year. Thursday, employment situation, 8:30. That's coming out Thursday morning. That's going to be a market mover. Jobless claims at 8:30. Philly Fed Manufacturing Index, 8:30. Got existing home sales, 10. Leading indicators, 10 o'clock. Quarterly services survey, 10 o'clock. Gas report, 10:30. That's normal for a Thursday gas report at 10:30. And that's it right there, traders. All right, I'll see you guys in about, I don't know, 35, 40 minutes, and we'll reopen the markets, and we'll talk about some of those anchored VWAPs, all right? I just want to point out a few anchored VWAPs that we have in SPY. See if I got them on my chart. Oh, I do. Okay, so here's the kind of a rally high anchored VWAP, and we could not get over that. We need to get over that, all right? Over that right there. This is the second one, and this is the all-time high. We have not touched that yet. All right, and this is the dip low from yesterday, and we came into that right there. So breaking any one of these could signal, like if we break the one on the top, it could signal a move to higher ground. Breaking the one on the low side could signal a move to retest the lows of Friday. Okay, so we'll see what happens here in the markets on SPY. You know, like I said, I'll be back in like 35, 45 minutes, and we'll reopen the markets and talk about these anchored VWAPs and what we're going to be looking for in price action around those. All right. I'll see you guys in 35-40 minutes.